Hello, my friends. Welcome once again to Faith Walk 101. And let me ask you this. Are you humble and content with what God has given you? You know, so often all we want is more, more, more. Our whole lives are spent on chasing after stuff. Can you live for Christ without all the earthly needs being met? Can you do that? Have you ever heard someone say, hey, if only God would give me this, if he would only bless me with this, then I would be able to serve him better. I would be able to do more for him. Well, listen to what Paul has to say about it in Philippians 4:11. He says, not that I'm speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am in to be content. You know, today we are being told that there are things that we cannot live without, right? We got to have all this stuff. And it's like our life is not complete unless it's filled with a lot of stuff. One is never enough. I have to have more. And if all we have to do is hear that there's a limit and they're only giving away one, and we go to every store around to collect as many as we can. But Paul says, I have learned how to be content with whatever situation God has put me in. We have gone as far as to believe that we are entitled to everything that we want. So just because I want it, I'm supposed to have it. The world is telling us that, and we are starting to believe it. But Paul says in Philippians 4:11, I've learned how to be content. Regardless of what I have, it is enough. Let me ask you, my friend, is Jesus enough for you? Is he enough? Have you humbled yourself enough to say, whatever it is, I accept God's will? You know, sometimes it makes me wonder, is any of us, is any of this thing, any of the stuff that we do, is it about God? Sometimes it makes me wonder, because it's all about accumulating, having, and then at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, or in the middle of it, we count all the stuff we have and we say, God has blessed me. But is it really about God? Does God's plan really matter? You might ask, how can I live without the basic essentials? I have to have these things, right? Then I would ask you this: how can anyone live without Jesus Christ? How? The reality is no one can. And what happens, even though with long periods of not acknowledging God in our lives, after a while we start to think that we're doing these things on our own. But God will always have the final say so, my friends, always. So your next breath, it is because God has allowed it. And your final breath will be because what God has done. Make no mistake about it, God is sovereign. Make no mistake about it. He is supreme ruler. He has the ultimate power and does not come to ask us permission on what his will is. He doesn't ask us. He already has his plan in place. And he has given us everything that we need to walk out a faithful life and to share the gospel with others around us. So let me ask you this question again. Are you humble and content with what God has given you? Are you? That's something you need to ask yourself. Can you live for Christ without all the earthly things that you think you need? Can you trust him enough to truly believe God is enough? Can you? We need more believers that are truly humble. Thank you, my friends, for joining us on Faith Walk 101. I hope this message has been encouraging to you.